So this is supposed to be my year of fun, and I've definitely gotten back to that. I've been going climbing at an indoor climbing gym with my friend. I've been hiking more, running more outside, going on adventures, reading fun books, talking to fun people. But you know what is also extremely fun? Doing intuitive readings. It's something that I've always done. I've just always been able to read energy and, see beings that are invisible to most people, talk to people after they pass away, pets, see aliens. And what's fun about it is that when you're confronted every day with a reality that's supposed to be solid, and you get to see and witness and experience things that go beyond time and space and matter, it just puts a little pep in your step. It really does. It just gives you that inner smile, that inner knowing of like, hey, there's a lot more going on, and this world can be more fun. It can be more enjoyable. There's not just this hunk of bricks around us. You know what I mean? It's always been that to me. It's always been like that reminder of well-being. Like, this place knows what it's doing and it's gonna be okay. And I've really appreciated that. Let's talk about it today. I want to talk about some of my favorite readings, some of my favorite encounters, what it's like to teach people to be psychic, because a lot of people don't think you can learn this, but I'm of the belief that everyone is born with the same equipment. It's just that some people maybe have it shut off and some people have it turned on automatically. Because I've taught hundreds of people, and even after I stopped teaching my psychic development class, I let other people teach it at that same center, and they were able to teach my content. So it's not just me, which is so fun to know. Not that I ever thought it was just me. So let's get into it. Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for watching this video. I just want you to know that at the end of this video, I'm going to be talking about the Intuitive Reading of the Month Club. So if you're interested in that, just watch on through, or feel free to skip ahead and listen to that. But I just want you to know that it's there. Lots of love. So as far as doing readings goes, I started doing that in high school, because we didn't have a word for what I was until my grandfather died and I was in middle school. That's when we really got the word psychic. And after that, I learned, oh, well, psychic means you can see into the future, right? And so I started doing that more with my friends. And first we would be walking around and I would, access things for them. And then I remember distinctly that I went through this little phase of writing things down for people. So I went to an arts high school for part of my time, and I had a couple friends, and I would just write a whole page of their inner life and what was going on at home and love interests and that kind of thing. And then I'd give it to them and they would be really stunned. I'm like, oh my God, how did you know that? And I don't know how I knew that. It just worked, It's like one of those things where how does the water come out of the tap? I don't know. I just turn it on and there's the water. And so that became just a fun thing for me to do with people who were asking for it. I never just plopped anything on people. But friends and family would come to me often for advice and insight. And then in my early 20s, I did start doing this professionally. I remember the first time I had ever done a reading for a stranger, it went so sideways because I was so nervous. The center that I was working with, now this was a reading, I should say, without intuitive art. And intuitive art, I've been doing readings for people the same amount of time. But this, I got hired at this center to do intuitive art and to do just regular readings, psychic readings, medium readings. And my first hour session that was booked, they were charging $125. And I just remember that was more money than I thought anything cost. I don't know. I just wasn't brought up in this world. I didn't know how much things should cost or would cost. And I just thought, wow, that's a lot of money. And so, of course, a couple days before I was supposed to deliver this, I got sick, like really sick. Like I had to like lift up my leg to get it out of the shower. I was so sick. So I think because I was just so scared, I was just like, I'm going to sit in the room with this woman. I don't know how it's going to go. And it's so much money and I can't believe it. And I really felt the pressure. So I did end up showing up to it. But I realized once I sat down, I was like, I'm too sick to be able to do this. This is not going to work out. And so because of anxiety producing this illness in me, I just didn't even go through with it. I gave, obviously I told them to give her a refund. But after that, I loosened up, I got more used to it. And I worked at that center until it closed. It was a wonderful experience. And I did readings of all kinds. And that's where I got to understand my loves. Like, what do I really love doing with people? What do I love talking about and accessing for them? And so I guess let's talk about that now. So I think by far one of my favorite things to do back then was talk to people's spirit guides. And it's so funny to know now I have aphantasia, which means I don't see anything in my head, but I see a lot outside of my head. Like that's where I see the visions, that's where I see the beings and people's energy. It's really fun. So anytime someone would walk in, I would usually see who they wanted to talk to if it was a medium reading or their spirit guide. And I remember sometimes spirit guides would just like, they would be hovering up in the air and like going into the corner of the room. Sometimes if it was like a loved one who'd passed on, they would be like floating right above somebody's head or right behind their shoulders. And so I would pretty much know who I was going to be speaking to right when the client walked in the first place, which was cool. And I could describe the person, the being, the spirit guide, and sometimes they would already know, like, oh yeah, I knew my spirit guide was a guy, or I knew they had this or that, And one reading that really stood out to me was a group of girls came in and they wanted to speak to their mom, and I could already see their mom, and their mom had these really high mom jeans on. So I described the jeans and they were like, oh yeah, that's her to a T. And it's fun because then you could feel and experience somebody's personality. And with the spirit guides, they were often not so chatty. Like some of them were very chatty. Some of them would talk to me in like full sentences and, lay it all out there for me. Some of them, I remember one refused to talk to me at all, which was kind of funny. We just did the reading in a different way. But most of them would share images, they'd share emotion, they'd share what they were observing, and it was just always really fun to translate that to the client. And I used to call myself like an energy translator because that's what I'm really doing. I'm pinpointing through intention what someone is wanting, bringing it back and like putting it into words. I know I did a lot of medium readings, so that's really what's coming to mind of like this older man who died, who had lost a leg and was like in an elevator and a fire. It's like, you kind of remember these things because they sink into your body while you're doing them, because I used to viscerally feel where someone was injured or why they died. And so I could still kind of feel and see what that was like. And the spirit guide readings were a lot about blind spots, a lot about like what the person isn't seeing or noticing. Because when you have someone watching you all the time, which is not really what spirit guides do, they don't really watch you all the time, they're not really with you all the time, but they can be. They're just really good at knowing you. They're really good at knowing like what you're not seeing. And so that's what I often got from them. People wanted to know about relationships most of all. They wanted to know about money, but mostly relationships. And I feel like I did enjoy that. I enjoyed all of it, but that was probably my least favorite thing, because what I have observed over time is that when we are ready, the person that we want is ready to, and they're there. And it's like a lot of attraction really does take care of so much. I mean, everything, really. Our vibration brings to us what we are a match to. And so when we are in a good place, we're going to allow in good people, good money, good all of those things. I really loved helping people see themselves, see who they are. In fact, I used to get hired for a lot of like parties. I'd go to people's houses and like sit on the couch, and one person after another would come in and I would do a reading for them. And this one lady would hire me all the time. She was a lawyer. And she finally came in and she's like, "What do you even do?" I was like, "I don't know." Because, I did all kinds of readings. I did the intuitive art. I was also an artist, and I worked. I had a day job as well. And so she finally was like, "I think you help people see themselves." And I thought, that really makes sense. I really like that. And I feel like that's really been a theme of what I've been doing this whole time, 20 years later. I just love helping people see themselves because people are really rad. Like, you're all really, really, really incredible people. I would do like soul gift readings, like what talents did you come here with? What gifts are you living with that you might not even notice because it's so natural to you? I would read people's life purpose, like what themes did you want to experience here? What are you adept at doing? Like, what are you most capable of? What's your potential? And that kind of stuff. And helping people find a way there too. Like, what is your path of least resistance to achieving that? I still do that. I do that for myself all the time. I love doing that for people. I mean, I love doing all these things. But yeah, like helping people find the way to the life that they really want. That's really how the coaching that I do developed. It's like, what's the easiest path for you to have what you want? Taking into account your soul gifts, your life purpose, what you're bringing to the table in this lifetime, and what would make you feel fulfilled, like specifically fulfilled. It was later on that I did more like extraterrestrial star family stuff because I didn't even realize I was like seeing aliens and interacting with them and, being one of them until my late 20s. So after I got comfortable with that, that's when I really expanded out into the galaxies and like understanding where people come from and what different energies that feels like and why we're bringing star energy into our lives right now and why some people feel so out of place on this planet, right? It's because you're bringing a lot of energy from other places. And that was often a really fun theme in like the workshops that I would do, like where people are from. We would just go through the whole crowd and people would get to know a little bit of where they're from. And there's always a book I recommend if you're interested in that. It's called Soul Mastery by Susan Taylor Shear. That explains a lot of common places where we might come from, what the energy feels like, and so you can see what really resonates for you. I know we're jumping around a lot, but whatever I'm remembering, I'm just spewing at you. So with angels are really fun because they have such a strong energy. I would do some angel readings, but most of all, I would introduce people to angels. And so I used to do this 6-week class, right? How to do all this, how to feel energy, read energy, see energy. In fact, our first class would be how to see your own aura and how to see the aura of other people. And people were so amazed that they could actually do that in their first try. It's really just about knowing what to look for. It's really like subtle. Subtle is the word of psychic. Psychic is subtle. And I'm sure I have a video on that. I could probably link it here somewhere. But on the last day, we would walk through angels because I wanted people to feel the difference, feel the presence of an angel. And so I would have all the chairs set up around the room. I would ask some angels to come and stand in the middle, and then one by one, people would walk through this group of angels, and they would feel the bodily sensation. They would feel, I didn't, tell them what they would feel so that I wouldn't like guide them too much, but people would feel goosebumps, or they'd feel cold, or they'd feel, whatever, tingly in their heart, that kind of thing. And it was awesome. It was really awesome. I mean, you can do it right now. You can ask angels to come and give you a hug. And they feel strong. They feel very sturdy, very certain, very dense in a light way, you know, not like heavy, but dense light. I feel like they feel like unconditional love. It's very nice. So I've done thousands of readings over the years, and it's been a really huge joy in my life. I love it so much. It's something that's so natural for me to do, so easy for me to do, that I sometimes forget about it. To be honest, I do it for myself all the time. I do offer it professionally a couple times a year, but I thought, what would be so much fun to do? What would be a delightful way to live my life? And that would be to do these every single day, to wake up, do people's readings, and then go about my day. And I used to have some visions of that. I was living in this like, kind of like what you'd picture as a lake house, like wooden beams, open on the inside, dark wood. And I would start my day, go to my office, and I would do the readings for the day. And then I would go hang out, go play, probably jump in the lake or so, go for a kayak. And today I was like, well, why not do that? I can totally do that. So for the Institute of Multidimensional Living, I started a higher tier for $111 a month. And I thought, what would be more fun than a reading of the month club? So I have 12 different reading types that I've outlined. And each month you get a different reading from me. And it will be either, if it's like with intuitive art, it'll be a video with my voice on it. If it's just something else, if I'm just accessing your energy or your spirit guide or whatever, I'll do it via audio. I'll email it directly to you once a month, and you get your personalized reading sent right to you once a month. So if you are interested in this and joining our Reading of the Month Club, you can. You can follow the link below. You can read all about it. You can pay monthly. You can cancel anytime. You can save some money and pay for the whole year and know exactly what you're getting from me and have some fun. Like, readings are so fun, but they're also so helpful. Every single reading type will give you information that you can feel good about, that you can feel validated by. I feel like synchronicity is so huge. I'm sure that however these readings are delivered will be exactly what you're looking for at the time. And if it's out of left field, it will be even more helpful because you'll be like, I didn't know I needed to hear that right now. My readings are love-filled. I'm a straight to the point kind of person. And so each reading will be like 10 to 20 minutes, but it will be absolutely packed. No filler or anything like that. And I'm sure you're going to love it. And if you don't, just let me know and we'll take care of you. So if you'd like to join the Reading of the Month Club, just follow the link below. And I hope you like this video. I want to know, like, do you do readings? Do you love readings? How often do you get a reading? What is your relationship with intuitive readings? I'd love to know. All right, friends. Thank you so much for watching. Lots and lots of love, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.